Greetings. As I said, we're going to continue here sharing our knowledge and passion for food. What are we going to work with today? Shrimp. America's favorite seafood. Now, I would laugh about that. We sell a lot of shrimp. Shrimp are found all over the world. Comes under different names. We in the U.S. call them shrimp. You'll hear prawns are used a lot. Prawns is sort of a colloquialism. People say they're bigger, they have the little claws. Prawns are pretty much the same thing as shrimp, just different countries using a different term. Langostinas are the shrimp with the heads that have really long, thin claws that come out of the front. So that's where I do definitely agree with a different term. They're caught many different ways. These are what's called an IQF. So this is individually frozen, so we get them in a bag where they're not frozen into a block, which is what I prefer. These are completely chemical-free, chem-free, and they're also wild-caught USA shrimp. It's the only shrimp we work with. It is totally allowed by the FDA and all food industries that shrimp, usually they're caught at sea, they're frozen at sea, but they're put into a solution, a trisodium phosphate solution of some sort. But there's salt in there, and there's a little bit of a chlorine product, which is all supposedly safe if it's done at part per million. And they've been doing it for years and years, so there hasn't really been a problem. I'm just not a fan of that. So we make sure that our shrimp come to us wild caught. I'm not a fan of the farm-raised shrimp either, and that we get them like this. We do clean them, we take the shell off, we do devein them. I'm a big factor, I take off the tail too. A lot of people, a lot of chefs leave the tail on because it looks cool, but it's unedible. So I do not like to leave anything on a plate that's not edible. I'm a little old school, that's how it is, and that's how I do my shrimp. Very quick, very fast saute. Scampi is a classic. I might not do it exactly when I use that terminology. I'm careful. We have garlic, butter, white wine, lemon, herbs, a little bit of tomato, pasta. So it's going to be close. Not exactly the way some people might call scampi, but I think I'm pretty close to what we do. Pan, we want the pan to be hot. A little bit of saute oil. I don't want to use a lot because we're going to finish with butter. But I do want to get a little bit, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. And we want it to be pretty hot. Shrimp, again, these shrimp will take about 3 minutes to cook. If you're ever doing a shrimp cocktail, ideally get a pot of boiling water, put in sort of your Bucci-Garni, your aromatics, we'll put in white wine, we'll put in lemon juice, we'll put in parsley, we'll put in some salt, we'll put in some pickling spice mix and things like that. And you bring it to boil, put the shrimp in, and turn the heat off, and 4 minutes later, depending on the size, you pour it out and you've got shrimp cocktail. Perfectly cooked shrimp. So shrimp can be a little tough. I want to make sure that they do have a good snap to them. These are not mushy shrimp, so they have a nice little bite to them, a little resistance, but also I want to cook them quickly, as I said. We do want to season salt, a little bit of kosher salt. This is a little bit of our Italian seasoning mix, like a bread dipping mix. Put that on lightly, not a lot, just one side of the shrimp. I also look now in the pan. It's not easy for me to see in the camera, but I see the viscosity of the oil. It's moving very quickly, very clear. So again, I pour some of the excess oil off, because I don't want the sauce to be very oily. And then as I put the shrimp into the pan, I'm hearing a little bit of sound, which is what we want. It'll take about 1 minute on this one side, then I'm gonna turn them over, and then I'm gonna add my components. So we'll talk about it for a minute, because it'll go quickly afterwards. Garlic, we love our garlic. I don't put the garlic in yet, because I don't want the garlic to burn. So when I turn the shrimp over, the pan's gonna be pretty hot. I'll put the garlic in first. I do wanna get a little bit of that garlic aromatic coming out of it. But there's a fine line between brown garlic and burnt garlic. So after I put the garlic in there, I'm going to quickly deglaze. We have white wine and a little lemon juice. After that, I'm going to add in some fresh parsley. We'll put in some butter. And then we have a little mix here of tomatoes, olives, onions, herbs. Just a fun little sort of Italian mix here, which is what I like, which is fun. We've also done it with peppers, but this is just sort of a little tomato herb topper that we have that I'm using with this as well. You don't need to really shape around too much, but Pam, I do like to try and produce a little bit of a crust on the outside of the shrimp, a little bit of coloring, just like in our meat, just not as much. We do want to get a little coloring going on. As you see, we are starting to get a nice little crisp edge to them, which is what we like. We definitely hear the noise. We're going to put in a little bit of garlic here. Get the garlic right in the middle, and then we toss it around. Now here I do want to toss around for a minute, spread the garlic out, but I don't want to burn it, but I'm smelling now. I love the wonderful release of the garlic flavor. White wine. You do want to do the wine off the heat. You can throw alcohol, but if you put it near the heat, you might get a little flame, but just a little lower alcohol wine. Put some of that in a splash of lemon juice. Then we're going to put it back on the pan. We're going to put in our little tomato mixture here. And then I'm going to give it a minute. I'm going to put a little bit of parsley. Let the shrimp cook for maybe another minute at the most, and I'm going to add in the butter. And I'm going to want to use the butter in there, and I want to be swirling it around. If you just let the butter go in there, you melt, and it'll look sort of a little greasy. If you add the butter in there and keep it moving with a little lemon juice or wine in there, we'll get a little bit more of an emulsification. Sometimes at the restaurant, if we do this a few orders at a time or something, I can add a little cream. A little cream as a stabilizer. Heavy cream it has to be. You sort of put the heavy cream in there, let that reduce down, and then the cream will prevent any of the butter from sort of melting and make it look greasy. But here it's coming together, it's sort of a creamy texture. It's melting very nicely. So I'm going to put it back on the heat. We're going to turn the heat down low. The shrimp literally will just melt down. And then there's also what we talk about passive cooking. So as they sit there, they'll continue to cook. Then afterwards, little orchiettas. I don't know. This is a great pasta. I love it. Again, it calls for a little sauce. I forget, I've been told it means little ear or a little hat. Somebody will correct me at some point, but right here, we're just going to warm it. At the restaurant, we have it pre-cooked, and then we'll just quickly the heat up, get the chill off on it, and then put it right in with the sauce and butter. And we have a nice little creaminess to it. And after that, we have ourselves a wonderful little dish here, shrimp scampi. You saw the shrimp is sitting on top. Take a little edge of the plate, finish off with a little bit of fresh parsley. And my friends, one of the simple classics, 5 minutes of time to cook. You have everything ready. So again, please enjoy and thank you from Ariana's Kitchen.